on September 11th, 2001.
Planes crashed into Alpha 4 of the World Trade Center.
Our very freedom came under attack.
Hey, we're trying to recoup. We lost all units here at this area.
Today, we pause to remember a day that tested our country.
Howard 2 has had a major explosion and what appears to be a complete collapse.
There's no possible way to begin to describe it.
Nearly 3,000 lives were lost in the deadliest attack on American soil in our history.
This is a moment to pause and reflect, to heal, and to rededicate ourselves to the American spirit.
May God bless the victims, their families, and America.
Of one nation indivisible.
And just hearing some of those voices really brought it back. I mean, with everything going on in the world the last 48 hours, it almost seems like an attack on our nation where over 3,000 people perished seems like an afterthought or a secondary thought compared to everything, because it isn't as front and center as it was in the first few anniversaries. And I'm sure it will change next year when we hit the 25th anniversary of the attacks on the Twin Towers in New York. So this one seems like a little bit more in the background, but I think it deserves to be recognized every single year. A lot of people who listen to this radio station, our generations, lived through it and remember that horror. And I've been around people, worked in other places where there's an entire generation now that has come up that has no idea what happened on 9/11 outside of history books, and I guess now with YouTube. It's kind of like the way that some of us would remember Pearl Harbor. You know, it was 20, 30 years before we came onto this earth, so it would be difficult for us to have any sort of thoughts about that, and certainly a remembrance because we weren't here. So you can't really hold it against a person of youth who just doesn't seemingly know about 9/11 or is fairly flippant towards it as just another thing in history that happened. Had they lived through it, I'm sure they would be as affected as we are every single year. And with everything that's going on in the last couple of days, not to dig too deeply into that and to take sides, but the fact that we are taking sides and things that are meant for us to be unified are dividing us even more. People are comparing tragedies on which one is worse. My side's tragedies more tragic than... That's where we're at on social media, and it drives me absolutely bonkers. And you know what I want? And it's virtually impossible now. And I'm not saying because of social media, but this is something that we did post 9/11. Because most of us had car antennas. And remember how unified we were as a country when disasters, like, for example, 9/11 happened. Didn't matter which political side you were on. You had a car antenna, and you know what was on that car antenna? An American flag. And that thing stayed on there for 4 or 5 months because we were so unified as a country. And yeah, there was political debate, there was discourse, but it was much different 24 years ago. And with the things that have happened in the last 48 hours, tragedies that should unify us as a country, we are debating on whose tragedy is worse. And that's a fail on both of our sides.
York County's morning show.